In this video, we are going to create a dark and light theme switch by using Alpine.js. So this is the light theme, and if we click here, the icon changes and the theme color changes. So the background color, the card color, also the text color. So this is very simple, and we are going to use Alpine.js. Okay. So let's start by creating the markup. I'm just going to keep it really simple here. So let's just put the button first, and we are going to use hero icons. So this is a SVG icon library, but before that let's just give this a button a class. Let's use switch, and inside it we are going to put two icons. One icon for the light theme and another one for the dark theme. So for the light theme we are going to use the sun, and for the dark theme we are going to use the moon. So let's just hover on that and copy it as a SVG. Now we need to comment this out. This is the sun icon. The problem with using the hero icons or this type of SVG icons, that if we paste multiple icons in here, then we may get confused about which is hot. Now let's get the moon icon here, copy SVG, and this is the moon icon. Let's paste it in here. So we got two icons and they are very small to see, so we are going to make it bigger by using CSS letter. So this is our button, and when we are going to click here, the theme will change. So after the button, let's create a card just for demonstration purpose. So we are going to change the color in here. So let's just add a title for the card, maybe typography. After that, let's put some dummy text like lorem maybe 15. Let's also add a type like typeface. So let's give it a class of type. We are going to make it bigger to just for make the card look cooler. I'm just going to put a letter A. Okay, so this is our card. This is very simple, and now let's move on to the CSS to style it. So I have already added the CSS link in here. Also I have added the Alpine.js. So this is actually the latest version. I'm just going to put 10.5. This is the current version of now of Alpine.js. So the Montserrat font is imported from Google. Also you can just search for Google font and grab the font from here, although I don't need that because in my PC the Montserrat font is already installed. So I have also added the font family in here. Just for reset, I have made the margin 0, padding 0. Now let's target the body first. I want the card element at the center, so let's give it a minimum height of 100 viewport height and give it a display flex, justify content center, align items center. Fine. Now let's target the card here, and before getting into that, the main theme we are going to use is the light theme. Let's say we want to by default use the light theme, and when we are going to click here the button, this is going to shift us to the dark theme. That's what the theme switcher does, right? Now how we can actually apply that? Well, there is a technique for that. We can actually use a class to add with the body. Let's say we got a class here, and let's name it light theme. Now we are going to apply the colors based on the class, and when we are going to click on the icon or the button here, we can change the class to a different class name like dark theme, and we can change the color based on that. So we are actually going to use variables in CSS. So let's target the light theme here, because that's the class we have given the body light theme. We are actually going to remove it and add it dynamically with Alpine later, but for now, for designing purpose, let's just add it here by hard coding it with the body. Now inside the light theme, we are going to create some variables, and how we can do that? Double dash, then the name. So let's just create 3 different type of colors in here. I want a color for the background of the body, another one for the background of the card, and another one for the text color. Let's just keep it really simple. So let's add a text color, and in order to create a variable, we just need to put 2 dash, and you can put whatever name you want. I'm just going to put a dash between here to just make it understandable. Now let's put a color. I'm just going to put on 3 on 3 on 3. This is the kind of blackish color, but not totally black. Now let's create a color for the card background. So card BG, and I'm just going to give it a value of EB, EB, and EB. Okay. Now let's create another color for the body background. So let's name it body background, and I'm just going to put triple F, that's the white color for the body. Let's save. Now how we are going to apply these colors on it, right? So we are going to use the var, or the short form for variable, to do that. So in this case, let's give this a body a background color, and we can apply it by using var and the first bracket. Inside it, we are going to put the name of the color. So in this case, the body will have a body background color which is white, and this is already white, so you cannot see any difference in here. So for the card, let's add a background color and var. So we got a card background, and now as you can see, it already got a background color. Now we can also add a different color scheme for the dark theme as well. So let's do that. For the dark theme, I want the text color to be kind of grayish, so we can use triple D here. Now for the card background, I want another hexagonal color code, so let's use that on 7 on A on F. Okay, this is dark. And for the background color of the body, we are going to use another hexa color code 262932. Now if we change the class name here with the body, like now we have light theme, now if we make it dark theme, as you can see, it changes, right? So that's what we are going to do later with the Alpine. Now we got a background color with the card. Let's give this a specific height. We don't need to change that. This is just only for the demonstration purpose, nothing else. Let's also add a little bit of padding, like 30 pixels. And we also need to apply the color for the text. So we can just use the color and then variable and the text color. Now let's also give it a border radius to make the corners rounded a little bit. Border radius, and I'm going to use 10 pixels. Let's also give this a box shadow. It will look much cooler with that. So for the offset X, let's use 0 pixel. Offset Y, let's use 30 pixels. And spread, let's use 60 pixel and 0. Now we are going to use the RGBA color code in here. I got the color from Figma, so let's just paste type it out on 4.8, and the opacity will be 0.4. that means 40%, and it looks kind of cool. Okay, the card styling is done. Now let's target the paragraph text. I just want to reduce the font size to 13 pixel and add a little bit of padding at top and bottom. So let's use 15 pixel at top and bottom. Left and right should be 0. Now after that, I want this to be much bigger. So let's target the paragraph tag with the class of type. We have given this paragraph tag a class of type. Let's increase the font size to maybe 100 pixels. Let's also make it bold by giving it a font weight of 600. You can also use bold here. Okay, we are done with the card. Now let's move on and style the switch. So let's target the switch in here. So that's the button. We have given this a button class of switch, and we also need to make the SVG bigger. So switch and SVG. Let's give it a width of 25 pixels. Now we can make it visible. Now we can see the icons, and we can design the button from here. So let's make the position fixed. We want it fixed here. So you can put it wherever you want. We can put it at the center, top left, top right, anywhere, but I want to put it in at the right side. So from top, let's give it 40 pixels, and from right, let's give it the same value. Now there are two icons in here. I'm just going to comment out on for now. Let's comment this out for now. We are going to uncomment it later because we are actually going to make it hidden by using Alpine.js. Now for the switch, there is a background color, and I want to change the background color and give it a value of, we got the color for the text that will be kind of opposite, but it will look better. And for the color of the SVG, I want the whitish color, so we can give it a color for the card background. So card VG, now it is visible. Let's add a little bit of padding for x-axis, like for top and bottom, like around the y-axis. Let's give it a value of 10 pixel, and from left and right, let's use 12 pixels. Now in order to make it completely circle, we can use a border radius of 50%. Now it should be totally circle. But when we are going to hover on that, I want the cursor to be pointer. So let's also do that, cursor pointer, and we are done. There is a default border around the button, so let's make the border none. We cannot see now, but when the dark theme will come, then it will be visible and it will look ugly. So we are done with our styling. Now let's move on and add our Alpine.js to the HTML file. So in this case here, we are going to add the X data with the body class, right? So this is going to affect the entire body. So in this case, the Alpine component will be the body. So now let's remove the class we have added, like hard-coded it. Now we are going to use the Alpine to do it. Now let's create a X data to declare it as a component, and we just want a variable. Let's name it dark mode, and initially I want to make it false. If you want to make the dark mode by default true, you can also do that. So now initially the dark mode will be false, and when we are going to click the switch, we are going to make it true and change the class name with that. So in order to bind a class with Alpine or any element in here, in this case the body, we can use the xbind directive of Alpine. So let's do that. We can use xbind, or we can just use colon as a shortcut. So we are going to add it as a class. Now before adding the class, we want to do a basic check, right? So if the dark mode is true, then we are going to add the class of dark theme that we have created in here. Otherwise we are going to add the class of light theme. So let's do the check here, dark mode, and if it is false, if it is true, then we are going to add the class name of dark theme, right? And if the dark mode value is false, we want to add the class of light theme. This is this simple. Now if we make it true, it will become dark, right? Okay, so we are going to change the value whenever we are going to click the button, right? So that's why we are going to do here. We are going to add an x on directive to get the event of click and then change the value of the dark mode. So on click, we need the value of the dark mode to be the opposite of the current value. Now if the dark mode value is false, then it will make it true, and if it is true, then it will make it false. Now let's save, and now it should work. See, it is working. Now the thing we are going to do is, when the dark mode value is true, that means we want to switch it to the light mode. That means we want to show the sun icon, right? So we are going to display it only when the dark mode value is true. So we can use the xshow in here and use dark mode. So whenever the value of dark mode is true, it is going to show up. Let's save. Okay, it is going to disappear, but we also need to hide the moon icon whenever the value of the dark mode is false. So let's do that, xshow, and it should be the opposite value. So we are going to use the not or exclamatory sign, dark mode. Let's save, and it should work just fine, and it is. But when the first time it is going to load, it may take some time to load the Alpine. Then it will show the two different type of icons in here, and it can look ugly. So we are going to use the X clock of Alpine. So initially we want the theme to be light. That means we want to hide the sun icon. That's why we are going to use the X clock in here. So let's add it with the CSS X clock, and we want the display to be none. Also let's add an important. Now there should not be any issue in here, and our theme switcher is perfectly working. So whenever you are going to create a bigger project, then you should apply everything as a variable. This is kind of very productive, because if we use the colors like these things in here in variables, you can just, if you need to change any color in your website, you can just change it in here, and it will apply everywhere it has been used. So it saves a ton of time. And this is actually the theme for SAS, SCSS, the CSS preprocessor. But with CSS you can also use the variables like that, and this is really helpful. So this is it for the project, and I think this is kind of fun doing that. So see you in the next video.